Hello everybody and welcome back to another FTB Infinity Evolved Skyblock on expert mode, of course, because that's the only mode available. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you're having a fantastic day. We are back here in the world with our beautiful squid tanks and all of our friends. As you can see, I've done a little bit of cleaning up or clearing up of specific things, and I've added some more capacitors, and we've started making some solar panels over here because, well, power issues have become a thing. I've started to up my production. We're now talking about 48 speed upgrades in these things, 52 in that guy. And we're just kind of upping our production. All of these are now resident machines with the triple upgrade. So we're draining quite a bit of power at a time when we're using them, 800 RF per tick. So yeah, it's a little insane sometimes. But we have all of these going pretty much as fast as they can go. And all of these are full again with almost full speed upgrades. Now, I will need some more solar panels. We're draining about, what are we at? 505 RF per tick per sieve here. But we will need more power before we carry on even further. Speaking of which, actually, did I ever make more? I don't think I did. Okay, that's fine. How many do I have? I have 7. You know what? Let's just make one more, because one more will give us the 8 that we need to get to the advanced. Now, we're not really going to be gaining much by going to the advanced outside of just a higher transfer rate. So that's kind of nice. So let's get one more of these started up and work towards that advanced solar panel. We are going through electrotine very, very quickly, though, with these solar panels. I mean, we're down to 23,000 already. I think it's been about 10,000 that we've used up for those 8, give or take. So it definitely requires quite a bit of that stuff, let me tell you. But hopefully we can get our production higher, and it won't be an issue whatsoever. The other thing that you'll notice is I've removed the presses over here. All of the presses have been removed, and the reason being, well, we're going to use this space for a power storage, I think. Our lasers have to kind of move around a little bit, and we got to do some more design and implementation over here as well. Our industrial apiaries are currently, I'm not working them at this point in time because we are here with all of our woven silk to get ourselves some apiarist gear. Now, at this point in time, it's probably not overly necessary to get this, but I do think it's kind of a good thing to have. What happened to my anvil? Did we use it up? I don't think we did, but oh well. We'll place it back down. And what we can do then is we can actually add it straight to our dark armor here. As you can see, 10 levels with that is going to give us an apiarist hat on our armor now. So that's kind of a nice bonus. I guess we can't put it on our chest plate, can we? I don't believe so. That's a bit of a setback. Let's get another 10 levels here. Boom. Good. And I'm going to put all of this on accordingly. I mean, we're dealing with bees all the time, so we might as well be fully prepared for anything that they may throw at us. Good. Okay, so that's decent. I don't believe that that's a thing. We can just double check, I guess. I don't think it is. Yeah, I don't think we can do that. No, we can't. Okay, that's what I thought. Alright, that's fine though. I'll just save this for now, and we can save it for later. So what we do have is we have the apiarist stuff on now. So we're dealing with, you know, less potential problems from bees. Things like flammable or poison or anything like that. Now, we could get into a bit of the gene sampling and the gene splicing and the BNA or DNA, whichever you want to call it, of bees. And we will definitely be doing that pretty darn soon. But not quite just yet. There's a few other things that we can do beforehand. Also over here, I've automated our lapis lazuli just with an export bus and EMI interface to get that guy going. Now, the problem with the Therionic fabricators is simple. They continually drain power, which kind of sucks. And the other thing that's terrible about them is you can only have one recipe per machine. So if we want to get all of the other electron tubes, we need to have an entirely new Therionic fabricator per setup. So we'll need, I think we'll need at least 2 more for sure. At least 2 more for sure, because we will need them for ender tubes, I believe it's called, the ender tubes for the octatics, as well as the blazing tubes for the double layers. So let's, without further ado, let's get some of these going. Gold chest, come on. Are you not done yet? Hurry up, please. What's taking so long? Please hurry. Alright, there's the gold chest. Beautiful. Okay, so we got the 2 Therionic fabricators, and basically what we're going to get going is these guys will go down here as well. Pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy. Let's get a little bit of the redstone energy flux ducts, bring those down, and we can kind of just tie these in. Now the problem that we have is we do need an open side to input glass. So these guys actually can't be side by side like that at all. How do we want to do this? Let's move this guy down one. I think that's the best way to go about it. So just moving this guy down by 1 is going to give us an avenue to come in between here. Like so. And are we all still in the chunk border? We are indeed. Awesome. And apparently that is spawnable. Well, that's a bit of a problem. Let's fix that by putting our item ducts on it. Don't need any bad guys spawning and potentially killing us. That would be bad. There we go. Problem solved. Alright. So next step is basically just to get all the rest of the stuff in place here for these guys to be operational. So a little bit of a trickery, moving a little bit of wiring and whatnot around, and there we go, we have them set up. So these guys are starting to get glass, understandably. Now they won't actually start melting things down until we put in a recipe. For example, we can take the blaze powder, all 5, and the redstone to set this guy up as our blazing electron one. So simply put, you just throw them in like so. That'll give us the blazing electron. Again, it's not going to start, it will start melting down the glass, so that's good. The other one here, we're going to want to do the end stone, which is upstairs and whatnot. But before we do that, let's go set up the recipe for this. Now, pretty straightforward recipe. You're under the production tab. It's not that difficult at all. And this will equal 4 blazing electron tubes. Very good. We'll combine that, and we'll cruise on downstairs and set this guy up. Now, this is going to help quite a bit overall, especially when it comes to some of the auto crafting and stuff. I couldn't tell you how many times in my other world I was, able to craft everything, and then all of a sudden, nope. What is our clog? Crushed iron. Crushed iron is a problem, apparently. Okay. This is good to know. How can we address this problem? Well, we can do it simply by installing an upgrade, I guess. I need to find where the crushed iron is, though, on the backside here. We don't really have iron ore sand. Crushed iron ore. Crushed iron ore. Boom. Done. Handled. I guess this is not processing fast enough? Is that the problem here? No, it should be. Okay. I hope we don't run into any backlogs over here. That would be terrible. Anyways, we'll put that away. Glad we found that already. Don't worry, though. None of my stuff is going to be chunk loaded while I'm offline. I have disabled all of that just to be, you know, sure that we're not running into any issues if I am offline. So far, it looks pretty good though. Okay, so the end stone should be in here, and I think we can now actually just remove this guy altogether, along with a couple other things. You know, it's great. We're slowly but surely clearing things up and getting things done, which is awesome. Absolutely amazing. Now, you know what? We're probably going to need... We're going to definitely need to autocraft, or at least get the autocraft set up for the Eyes of the Ender. I don't believe we have that yet. And the other problem that we have is our crafting area completely full already. But anyways, this will work for now to at least set our pattern so that it can get it, you know, prepped and ready to go. The next step is, of course, to get the pattern and all that kind of stuff. But that's setting up your Therionic fabricators to operate correctly. Very nice. And very nice. And we need the Ender electron tubes. For 4. Excellent. Okay. So these guys are set up. That means that we have pretty much access automatically to everything needed to make things like the octadic capacitors. So if I were to craft 100 of these, obviously Eyes of Ender are a problem and redstone chipsets, but those can quickly be handled as well. Alright, so here we are, 1 advanced solar panel. Go! Awesome. Next step. I bet you we get an achievement. I think we will. Boom, we did. Power levels critical. Very nice. Now this guy should be generating all the same amount as basically all of those resonant ones combined, but it does save us a bit of room by putting it in 1 solar panel. So now we can get another 8 of those and slowly but surely work our way up towards everything else. I just want to actually check and see how many resources we're talking about here. So it's 223 bytes used, which we don't have in a crafting system. 12,000 electrotine for 1 of these guys. Wow, that is craziness. And about 8,000 redstone. You know, the redstone's not even the problem. It's the sand and it's the electrotine. The electrotine is for sure a problem. So 12,000, we can barely get another. We can get 1 for sure, and maybe a second by tomorrow type thing. Really not that much at all. But we are now generating 4,096 RF per tick just from that 1 solar panel, which is pretty darn awesome if you ask me. That's going to handle a lot of our power needs in that current system. So that is great. And the other thing that we can do is we might be able to upgrade these again now. You know, we got all that additional power. How much more do we need? We need 16 here and 16 here. And this guy requires 14. So 16 and 16 is 32. And 14 is 36, 46. 46 speed upgrades, hey? We may just be able to do that. Let's see how many we can actually get. I should just actually autocraft these, but, you know, it's one of those things. Why bother? I'm only going to probably have to make them a few times. So I'm going to make as many as I pretty much can here. I think 40... Yeah, 46 is definitely going to be a possibility. Okay, I think we have them all. Alright, so this should max out our sieves completely. And we should be good to go. So this guy, boom, 64... boom 64 and boom 64. This is about as fast as we can get them overall, but we are also talking about we can get more fortune upgrades to basically improve what we get out of these things. Now, we'll have to double check, see how we are for power and whatnot, but I think we're going to be okay. Now, if the lasers kick on, that might be a different story, but I think, all things considered, I think it's pretty good. It kind of bugs me up in Wayla there. I don't know if you guys can see it on the screen, but this buffer doesn't improve on this advanced solar panel, which is quite annoying if you ask me. Hi. Get out of here. Thanks. Excuse me, sir. You're starting to get on my nerves. Sir, you're on my nerves. All of you, get lost. So one of the things that's still a concern is things like this. The industrial apiary, I'd like to be able to autocraft these guys, but all of these bronze gears and gears in general we haven't automated yet. So I'd really like to get those automated, and to do so we need some of these guys back. Yeah. You know what? Let's just do one for now. Yeah, I think we'll just do one of these for now. That's good. We're going to need two, I think it's 2 conveyor belts. And what else? Good question. I can't remember. It was the scaffolding, right? Yeah, this stuff right here. Awesome. Okay, good. So we have the items required for that. We have our hammer on us. We're going to need MV stuff. Probably the easiest way to go about this. So we'll go with that. And last but not least, we need some sort of a... Do we want to do a hopper? Yeah, I think a hopper works just... So we're going to basically do the exact same setup that we had upstairs. Now, I'm thinking we're kind of running out of room in this chunk over here. So I may expand it. I may put it somewhere else. I may put it over here. The other problem that we're having here is the actual access point to the ME controllers are kind of getting a little cluttered up as well. But what I'm thinking is we can then tie into that power line right up there. So let me place this guy back down, ready to go for us to use it. Alright, so just setting up the recipe here. We got the bronze gear. Very good. And we can set this guy up accordingly. Do we have the... It's just to a chest, if I'm not mistaken. So I want to make sure I get it in the right place. Yeah, it's just to a chest. So we're just going to throw it in here. And I guess we can give this a try and see what exactly happens. So we're going to craft a bronze gear. It should send 4 down to that chest, which should send 4 into the hopper. Right? Oh. I'll see what I did there. Well, that's not going to work at all, is it? No, sirree, it's not. Okay, we can clean that up, though, quite easily. You can't put something on top of a chest and then expect to be able to output from it. Okay, like so. And we'll pipe in like so. Very good. And put that guy back in. Now... that should work. Let's just delete that one. Cancel. Good. And let's try it again. So 1 bronze gear is going to go like so. And there you go. We see the bronze already coming in. And I forgot to put a press on there. Okay. Couple derps. No big deal. We need the gear press though. That's usually helpful. Alright, let's try it one last time. 3rd time's the charm, right? Please say 3rd time's the charm. Thanks. Agree with me, please. Okay, so there we go. Now it's stacking up, and boom, it should come over and press. I really wish there was a way to actually speed this machine up. I think it could be really awesome if you could get, you know, a faster version of it. If you know what I mean. But for now, that does work accordingly. Now, equally, we can also set up other gears. Obviously, I've just done bronze at this point in time because that's kind of what we've been focusing on here lately. And we're going to focus on it a little bit more right now as I hit my microphone stand. No big deal. What we're going to do is we're going to get a couple fermenters. These guys right here, they're pretty straightforward and they're not that complicated of a machine from forestry. Now, what these guys will do is you'll see here, I've actually set up our seed oil to automatically come out, as well as we've now created fruit juice right here, using up some of those apples. Now, what we want the fermenters to do is we want the fermenters to take that apple juice, and all of that kind of stuff. Is it still... See, it's a little slow. It's a little slow. But we can kind of go over this briefly with the one fermenter. So we want to have fermenters. Say, for example, oh, I don't know. We could put them down. Let's see. If we go there, we're all still in the chunk. So let's go right here. That should do the job, I think. And we'll run 3 of them alongside. Just like that. Okay, good. Then from there, what we can do is we can pipe in the fruit juice from this tank over here, which I may reconfigure to put right on top there and then pipe out. And then what that fruit juice will do, and if you look at it correctly, so fruit juice, you can see the recipes to get biomass. Now, biomass is a type of fuel for, you know, power and all that kind of stuff. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can do it. Fruit juice with fertilizer or compost or mulch, I believe is the other one right there. Yeah. Will, with any type of sapling, will give you biomass. Now, equally, I believe it works also with any type of fruits, vegetables. You can use wheat and all that kind of stuff. So we actually have a decent amount of wheat, so we can start to use it to make some biomass. We also have a lot of saplings too, so we can use that as well. So let me see. How many channels do we have left here? We have 25 or 32. That might be okay. So if we pipe in the fruit juice accordingly, we'll take off this, and we'll place it right on top there instead, and turn off that guy. And then all that we need to do is pipe directly out from there, and we can pipe it into the back. I think we can do this. We're short on the temperate fluid ducts, but we can do this for science. Okay. And okay. Good. Awesome. All right. So this should be all good to go. So that will start to give us some fruit juice into our fermenters. So this guy's filling up good with fruit juice. This guy should as well. No, we need a servo. We need a servo first. Okay. Good. A servo on there, always active. Okay. So what we should start to see is more fruit juice coming into our fermenters on where they're hooked up especially. I think. No? Why is it not filling up? Does it have to pull out the bottom of this thing? Really? Really? It's going to be that complicated for us? Okay. Not a problem. It's an easy fix. We can just go like this, and we can put this pipe back over here. And did that just do what I think it did? It's fine. And we can just set this to an output like that. This should... I have a feeling that these pipes are filled with stuff. Okay. We can fix that. We'll go like that. Disconnect. This is the one that's going to be a problem. Let's do the other side for now. I'll fix the other one later. So, as you can see, the fruit juice is coming in, just like we anticipated. The next step is to get in fertilizer or mulch. Now, I kind of pulled off mulch, because you get mulch by squeezing the apples to make that fruit juice. So, out of 128 plus, we've only literally gotten how much mulch? 156. I don't think that's going to cut it. So I think instead what we're going to need is we're going to definitely need some sort of an export bus for sure. Okay, we'll do 3 of those. Good, get those started. And we're probably going to need some crafting cards, 3 of them, to craft up fertilizer. I think that's our easiest access item to do. So do I have some in here? I do. Beautiful. Okay. So these guys will basically go on top, and what we're going to do is we're going to tell it to craft fertilizer. So it's going to use the crafting and all that kind of stuff to make fertilizer. Pretty straightforward, right? Makes sense. Good. Next step is literally just running some cable out and putting it to test. So this should give us fertilizer, and that's exactly what it did. Good. Next step is to get all of these up and operational. So let me get a few of the items that we require, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I've added a capacity card, and we've set it to round robin mode. So what that means is it should put in fertilizer and wheat, alternating type thing. So what you can see here is the wheat is starting to come into all of these machines as well, and the fertilizer is fully stocked up. So the crafting card worked perfectly. So from here, I guess it's a matter of, well, I do need to fix this other one to get some fruit juice over here, which we can definitely do just like this for right now. And I'll hook that guy back up a little bit later. So these guys are all working. Next step is to get them a little bit of power here. Pretty straightforward. Nothing too complicated about that at all, especially at this point in time. We'll run it right here and right on up in. Good. Okay, so these 3 fermenters should be operational. Good. And we are now making biomass. Now, biomass can be used for a couple different things in the world, and one of them is for the still to make ethanol. Ethanol is a type of fuel very similar to things like firewater and all that kind of, and buildcraft fuel and all that. So that is definitely the main use for it, I would say. There's also biomass from industrial craft, but that doesn't really do anything. So, and then ethanol, of course, you can use in a couple different engines and stuff like that. You can also use biomass in engines as well. I believe the reactant dynamos, for example, will take biomass and use it accordingly. Now, what I'm thinking, I'm kind of debating whether or not I want to do too much more with the biomass or not at this current time. I don't know if I do have an empty tank. Let's set that guy up here, and let me get some of those fluid ducts and all that kind of stuff and get the biomass exactly where it needs to go. Fluid duct. There we go. Let's make the prettier ones. We don't have any copper plates. We literally don't have copper plates. Okay. 1, 2. That's all it should take. This is one of those times when you're kind of going, I forgot to make that recipe. That's what's happening here. Okay. We'll get this guy. Let's get our fluid duct. Like so. Good. Got it. Alright. Amazing. So now these guys will basically just go on the front side here, and it's going to pull out the biomass itself. Now, obviously, these will need to be servoed accordingly to pull out of the machines. So, pretty straightforward, pretty easily done system. Nothing too crazy, nothing too revolutionary here either, but we are getting other things in place just to use potentially down the line. And that'll fill up this reinforced portable tank, which is 128 buckets of biomass. So these guys should continue to work, which is great because we're actually going to maybe start reducing some of our wheat. We've had quite a bit of it for some time, and we might as well put it to some good use. Other than that, let me double check the time on this. I know it's not the most revolutionary or, this and that episode, but I think it's pretty important, everything we've gone over. Yeah, so I think we're at wrapping up point for sure. Definitely a 30-minute video here. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I do want to get started on a fun and funky idea of something I've thought up to use bees. But we'll see if I get around to it next episode or not. There's so many other things that we need to do, like blood magic and Thaumcraft especially. So, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, all that awesome stuff. Thank you a ton, and have a good one.